That was just a little demonstration on how I use a scope, kind of shooting I do. I believe to do a proper scope review, you got to use the scope, not just open a box and look at it on a bench or look at the specifications and report on them. So this is Jeff Brozovich from longrangeonly.com, and I'm here today to tell you about a scope I've been using for quite some time. We hunted with it all last hunting season. I've been shooting with it all summer. It's the Nightforce F2 second focal plane ATACR and 4 to 16 by 50. So hang on, we're going to go through all the features and functions here of it. I'll tell you about the tests I ran on it, and hopefully by the end of this video you're going to know a lot more about this scope. You know, I'm a tried and true die-hard fan of the old Nightforce NXS 5.5 to 22. I've used that scope for years. I think it's a scope that I hope never goes away. It just fills the needs of many applications. So you're going to hear me refer to that scope a lot in this review because I think you need to know, most people know about the old NXS 5.5 to 22, but you need to know why would we choose this over the NXS 5.5 to 22. So some of the features here, let's go over. Talk about the differences. This scope does weigh a little more. Now you see I got it on a compact rifle here. I've got it on an ultra lightweight Christensen Arms 6.5 Creedmoor in their Summit TI. This rifle only weighs 6 pounds, a little over 6 pounds unscoped. But why I chose it was, yeah, it's a couple ounces heavier than the NXS, but it's a full 2 inches shorter. So that's really nice throwing it in out of a pack on a gun that I'm going to, take up and down hills and everything. I know these scopes are a little heavier than some things out there, but I guarantee you this, they're a lot tougher. They're a lot tougher than about almost anything you can find. And you got to remember there's some importance to that, especially on a lightweight rifle. Okay, so we're sacrificing a few ounces of weight here for a scope that on a rifle we're going to be packing into the hills, into rough country, over rocks. We might take it on a sheep hunt. It's going to get banged and bumped and beat around. It might be thrown on a horse and then we backpack out from there. I mean, it's going to take a beating. So durability to me, what good is a scope that isn't holding zero if it gets banged around if it's a little bit lighter? That weight, it just doesn't mean that much to me. So enough about weight. 2 inches shorter, 50 millimeter objective. It's a pretty compact offering here for your lighter weight rifles, which I chose it on. And along with that, the 4 to 16 power range makes it easy to jump on your target, easy to get target acquisition. 16 power is plenty of magnification for the type of rifles I use this on. I would use this on anything from my little 6 millimeters, the 6.5 like this, 7s, all the way up to, I'd even run one on a 30 cal. In fact, I'm running an 18 power maximum power setting on my my 30 Nosler right now, and I'm getting along just fine with it. I can shoot a mile if I want to on targets, but inside the hunting distances we do with these guns, 16 power is plenty. And then you also have that option of dropping down to only 4 power, which on a scope like this and a rifle combo like this, we took this rifle on some lion hunts, and a good friend of mine used it. This young lady, she got on her lion, and we're talking about a 30-foot shot here into a tree where you can just see parts of the lion, and you had to get in. She X-ringed the heart and killed this lion using this scope, leaning off a light branch for stabilization. So very versatile scope, low enough power to go inside a timber, to do the close shots wherever you want, enough power on the top end to reach out and hunt to 1,000 yards with ease. I told you I was going to compare this to the NXS and why I feel this is an upgrade for most applications. Not all applications, but most applications. The first thing we're going to talk about is the glass. All the ATACR line has the ED glass. It's a step above the NXS. You'll see that. If you put them side by side and start getting towards low light, you're going to see that. If you crank them down, I mean, it's not huge, but you'll see it. If you crank them down, go in a timber on low power settings, you'll notice this thing will light up some things that the typical non-ED glass may not. It also shows a more vivid color and things like that. So another big difference is the 34 millimeter objective, or tube. The 34 millimeter tube offers us a lot of dial up. This scope's got 110 MOA internal adjustment. That's way more than we'll ever use on this little rifle. You know, I got it on a zero rail base, and I still haven't ran out of, you know, it's an integral rail on this rifle. I still haven't ran out of dial up with it. So plenty of adjustment. 34 millimeter tube, that's a good thing. ED glass, big thing. Okay, the other thing that these new ATACRs have is this Digilume illuminated reticle. I want to tell you about that. That comes in two different colors. You can switch it over here from red to green, and you can set your intensities the way you want it, and it's just a simple reach up and push of a button and it's on. I'm using some other brand scope right now that have the they have the illuminated reticle settings back here on the eyepiece, and that to me that's cumbersome. It's just more natural for me to reach up, push the side of the scope, and I can zip through my settings and colors. I've found that the green in low light conditions, the last legal light at the end of a day, turned down, it just illuminates that little cross on the MOAR reticle, and it makes it really easy with no blur or no fuzzing of the reticle to take and well place that shot at the last light of the day. The other thing that we need to talk about here on these scopes, 30 millimeter turrets, 30 millimeter, excuse me. 30 MOA turrets, 30 MOA in one revolution. You know, that covers all your shots out to 1,000, even on a 6.5. The other thing is we got a zero stop. You know, you can set your zero stop like they've always been. The other thing we need to talk about is there's a zero stop now too on our windage turret. And I'll drop the camera in here and show you how this works. But what it is at 14.5 minutes, there's a stop in either direction. So you can't get lost. No matter what you do, you can't go around and around. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you find yourself in a condition where you need more than 14.5 minutes of dialed in windage, plus using the whole off of your reticle, I don't know what you're doing, but you're a better man than me. Some of the tests I do some preliminary testing. One of the things I started doing is testing these scopes for turret calibration. Okay, I made up a chart. I set it up at a given distance. I strapped the rifle down to a bench where it cannot move. I'll show you a picture. And then I dial in a box-shaped fashion into quarter-minute dots all the way around and make sure it tracks. I go around it once this way, and I go back around it that way. And I've never found a Nightforce that didn't track or didn't return to zero, so it's kind of fruitless, but I still do it if I'm going to do a review, because I can tell you, hey, I did it and it tracks spot on. This scope tracks spot on. Okay, from there, you know, this is where good scopes pay off too. I chronograph my rifles. I get an accurate velocity with a low ES out of my load, and I put all this stuff in a ballistic calculator or in my Kilo 2400 rangefinder, and I go out and I start testing. And you know what? Everything's on. You know, very, very few times do I have to make a little correction in velocity or something like that. But most of the times I'm within a kill zone or better, you know, inside a half MOA from aim point, just right off the bat, you know. So really get you close. It's good to have a good repeatable scope, and that's one of the things I do test on them. But to me, the true testing that I've done on this scope was hunting with it. Like I said, we put it on last fall. Several of my friends use this rifle to take game. We shot numerous antelope. My wife used it to shoot her antelope. Again, big field of view, not too much power, very good antelope scope. My wife was able to watch her antelope drop through the scope. This is important. A well set up rifle, a good optic, you can stay on your point of aim. So we did beat it around quite a bit. We've shot a lot of stuff with this rifle, and I'm going to be using a lot more. So I think it's a good combination. The ATACR 4 to 16 second focal plane fits my needs for this type of rifle and even larger rifles. So I'm probably going to be looking at buying a few more of these. I want to talk about just one more thing before I wrap up this review. I guess we should talk about the Tenebrec covers that are on this scope. These are a hard rubber scope cap that they're really nice. I like them. I sometimes do remove the back one. It's that easy, just because I find it, especially if I'm wearing a hat or something, or what kind of shooting I'm doing, I find as I'm cranking my power adjustment around that you know, it can hit on my hat brim or get in the way, and it's just that easy to get it out of the way. But it's a good protective scope cap to have on here. Easy access. You can rotate them to whatever position you want them. So it's a nice little option. It comes with these ATACRs. So yeah, so I thought I'd better point that out. And then I also want to talk about the height of these turrets. If you'll notice on these, Nightforce has done a good job of shortening these turrets, especially the parallax adjustment and the windage adjustment. With the zero stop mechanism, the elevation turret is a little bit taller than the others, but I'm running some other scopes right now, and everybody's going to this counter mechanism and all that stuff on there, which I don't know why you need that if you got a good zero stop. But anyway, I've got some scopes I'm using right now that, man, they've got the elevation turret stuck way up there. It's cumbersome. It's a hassle. It catches coming out of the scabbard or the backpack scabbard. So I'm really fond of just the whole ergonomics of this scope. Okay, so that's pretty much wrapping up my review here on the Nightforce ATAC-R second focal plane 4-16 by 50. A great option, fills a great niche. If you don't need the 5.5 to 25 larger ATAC-R, you got this option here in a 4x16 that's going to fill a great need on our smaller and medium-sized rifles. So, Jeff Brozovich from LongRangeOnly.com signing out. Check out our sponsors on LongRangeOnly.com. Several of them are selling these right and have these in stock right now, so check them out if you need to get one. And follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Got some new editors. A lot of new reviews coming out. Listen, we got a lot of gear to review. We're way behind. So we're going to be hammering them out the best we can now that summer's here and we can get outside and do some reviews. So glad you follow us. Thanks for everything. Stay in touch.